Hello everyone and welcome to the ScratchRunning Podcast, the official podcast of competitive browser gaming, where our motto is, every good crossover event must come to an end.
Yeah.
This isn't the end, that's just a reference to PLF5 Codebreakers. Anyways, as always, I'm your host Kieran, and with me on the mic are Yes Quite, Klabss, and Apfellord.
Hello.
What's up, gamers?
Salutations.
It's been 10,000 years.
He's back.
So long. Just before this episode, we realized just how long it has been since Quiet has been on.
It's been a while, huh?
Quite.
But
We've missed you. You are the anchor that ties down the chaos of the ScratchRunning Podcast.
I agree.
Oh.
It's like an oasis of calmness. I appreciate you being back.
Thanks. I'm glad I
Me
could
too.
finally be back. I've been way too unacceptably busy, and so now I have not been just enough that I could be here.
Right.
Let's go.
I'm
Last
excited.
time was episode 25, Game Goofs. Fun
Game
episode.
Goofs. What a good episode.
Since then, we've had 3 more episodes, and now we're at 29.
Yeah.
Actually, the last episode of this season.
Yep.
Can you believe it? Seasons are fictional.
That's right.
There aren't really seasons of the ScratchRunning Podcast, but we do like to take December off because it's a good time. It's a festive time for most of us.
And I think we do incorporate a change into the next season
That is
periodically. And I think this season's going to be our new emote engine, which already is pretty great.
Yeah.
I agree. Again, thanks to Klabss.
Yeah. Klabss did some programming behind the scenes, behind the ed menu.
And I'd never told anybody this. Maybe some people already, figured it out. I'm sorry, the ad menu was not accurate at all.
It was all a lie.
It was
Yeah.
all a lie. Not quite, but it was. You posted a Wimmers in, segment 1, for example.
It would appear somewhere in that segment, but now it
Yeah.
appears on the second.
On the second you posted, which is
Excellent.
That's pretty good.
just brilliant. That's what it was supposed to do, but
But now it actually doesn't.
You can have precision wimmers.
right. So I want a big SR Wimmers for that, for Klabss actually, making the thing do as it should.
Yep.
It just needed a bigger brain than mine to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big brain.
I don't know, man. I've done the basics of it, but
yeah. That's what Scratch is all about. It's about collaborating.
right.
That's so
you
true.
remixed it,
That is
and
actually
now
very
you
true.
can whim at accurate
Women at
levels,
appropriate
at
levels.
appropriate levels.
You can't wimmers to your heart's content yet, because if you do spam the emotes, the ed menu will give you a little slap.
To the end.
Yeah.
Which it should. Nobody should
Yeah.
spam emotes. Please don't. And if you do, only do it so you can read all the lines
That's
that
funny.
Ed has to say to you.
Then they're not. At least they're not using them. They're just seeing the lines. I will
Yeah.
say, in these trying times, in order to have second specific emotes, there is a limited supply of emotes per episode. There's you can get plenty,
Yeah.
and I think we're about near the end of the amount we can put into it, 28. But seeing it's pretty great. Like, I think there's plenty of emotes that episode, even if we're reaching the cap. So, first come, first served.
I didn't think how much it would add to actually have, the emotes at the right time, because you can actually see how when somebody says,
Yeah.
post this or that, then like how it just spikes, how so
Yeah.
many people post them.
So now instead of having SRCast throughout a minute of content, you can see it spike when Klabss
That's
says
great.
last episode, can we get an
It's
SRCast?
It's so good.
That's so good.
This
fun to see.
podcast has been so good this year.
It's improving it's always improving. I
True. Here's to another year of scratch running.
Amen.
Kieran just said it earlier. I totally, or we all kind of just
Yeah.
flew over that. We're in Codebreakers. We kind of advertise it a little, but this
Yeah.
is something pretty cool.
It's
that
pretty
we have
big.
been working together with Klabss has been working on it.
Yeah. Klabss,
so long.
the lead developer.
Yeah.
I mean, for the SRCast
Yeah.
and maybe some other.
Well, I programmed all of Professor Pistachio, but AK did do some of the base animations for SRCast.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of the Scratch Running Podcast Fighter, mostly because this podcast represents the side of Scratch that I'm from. With,
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
and now
Scratch
you get to
Games
see it.
2.0, Super Fighter Tournament's got a rep, you love to see it. Monster Melee's got a rep, you love to see it.
Dude,
Yes,
Wimish
Quite's
is
got a
in there.
whip, you love to see it.
Yeah.
It's on its way. I'm very excited.
It's like all culminating in this one character that you can
Yeah.
play as. If you are, if you're brave enough to open it up in the
Yeah.
browser,
SRCast is actually a huge fighter.
right?
Definitely.
Like,
the
in
biggest.
terms of what it means for the community.
Oh yeah, that. Too. But it definitely has the most code.
Just
Yeah.
like code space.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect end character, honestly. And I touched on this in Codebreakers retrospective. People are always going to be salty if they didn't get in, and that's sort of the nature of if you make a game where potentially anyone can get in. Like, no one's mad they don't get added to like Smash Ultimate. Because it's like, well, obviously I can't get into Smash Ultimate. But when we set up these bounds where it feels like maybe you could get into CB, it's a lot easier to get your expectations a little too high.
Yeah.
But if we added an individual, so many more individuals would have gotten angry. So adding SR
Adding
cast
20 people.
adds 20 reps.
In one.
And then we added 3 extra characters.
Yep.
It's sort of outrageous to me that anyone could get mad at that. I saw someone got like mad. That
I don't even
there
think
was
they did.
People did. I guess someone who got mad there was 2 Klabss reps, which is absurd to me because I coded Professor Pistachio myself, and there was enough room to slap them in, and also I coded like a third to half of this game.
Yeah. I think there should be there should be more Klabss in Codebreakers, TBH.
If you're gonna get mad, there's like definitely random people who have 2 or 3 reps that are not even part of the community. You can direct your anger towards them. Your boy Klabss, he didn't do
Klabss?
nothing. He didn't do nothing.
I love how Joser's just got in twice at the same time.
That was
as-
funny.
Josa's is fun.
To an
Like,
extent,
honestly, 1.5 is some of the most fun I've ever had playing Codebreakers, and not just for the podcast. Josa's
Right.
good, Red good.
yeah, they're fun.
good.
Joseph
Honestly,
is very
post-launch fights. I'm just gonna say, post-launch Fighter 5 is my favorite character.
fun. that means a lot of characters.
They're all PLF 5.
Quite, did you get a chance to actually play some Codebreakers, or was that like, did you just observe from
I haven't been
afar?
able to play it like against people much, but I'm familiar with it.
Yes, nice.
So I know most of I know most of the roster. I know I've slapped my eyes on most of the roster.
I haven't even done that.
There's a lot of people I personally don't know, but that's just because I come from a different corner of Scratch.
That's what I've been saying.
Definitely part of the
Well,
fun
it was-
is exploring the different scratchers. One of
little
the big
bit.
reasons I added or wanted to add Doggy Woofu is because that community was so not like engaged with in the
Represented?
CB community. Like no one there even knew anything about any of that. But I see a lot of people now just checking out like the creepy art and the different like cool art communities in Scratch just because they really liked that character, and I think that was
Oh, heck yeah, you'll love to see it.
That was
That's
something
cool.
I loved. And it's a little embarrassing that it just happened at all, but that is, for instance, the way that I found out about the updater, and then also like several other people who are just part of this, like you mentioned in your retrospective, Klabs, a huge like blossoming group of scratchers who are just making some really high quality games.
right.
If
Also-
Klabs hadn't shown me Homecome Creatures of the Night, I don't think I would be where I am.
And I think that's what's great. It represents. I think CB means different things to different people, and to some people, it represented a chance to maybe like break out and become famous on Scratch. But unfortunately,
Nah,
it was
it's just a
never going
it's
to
just
be
a
that
crossover event.
because it's impossible to load for so many people. I think what it really
I'm sorry.
represents is communities coming together. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons I never loved repping too many people from our own community, is because it just felt like we weren't expanding. But every time we found someone new, or like even I had my own reservations with adding Ali and Cheese, albeit I was the one who pushed for
who?
it because I wanted devs to have some characters in, and it felt like some devs weren't getting their characters in.
Yeah.
But because we added Ali and Cheese, I mean, people have now like found their old Turbo Warp projects, and like engaged with some of that material, even if those
that is
accounts
kind
are
of fun.
unshared. And then it's like, oh, this is a whole community I would never have known. And even if it's in the past, it's still kind of awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm not mad that I wouldn't even be mad if the ScratchRunning podcast didn't get in, but like,
Right.
no app fell Lord Rep.
I mean, come on. I'm like, at this point, I'm just waiting for what's his name, Miyamoto, to reply to me so we can maybe get Ed as the final fighter.
Yeah,
the PLF bonus for Smash Ultimate.
you know, he said Sora was the last one, and it's okay. But
yeah,
can't-
he's no Edward, but you know
he's
what?
no Edward. Yeah.
I feel like the fact that it like resembles Smash so closely is kind of what like fuels a lot of these conversations, because it's like
true.
Smash is like not just like one game; it's also like kind of a Hall of Fame. It's kind of like a a feather in the cap of whoever gets invited to it.
Yeah,
And so-
you know you've made it when you're in Smash Bros.
Right. So when something
Right,
like this
Captain
comes out
Falcon.
on Scratch, people are like, "Well, I've heard of this person, and I think they're super cool. Why aren't they cool enough to have gotten
Yeah.
put into this?"
Yeah.
as well?"
Smash Bros is kind of like Codebreakers, but with characters you've heard of.
Well, you brought that up, and I think that's actually very interesting because people correlate it so much with the idea of putting this feather in your cap.
Okay, maybe characters I've heard of.
Yes,
Exactly. I think,
I don't, but I don't think that's appropriate at all because so few
Yeah.
people can load it, and because it's really just about like meeting
Yeah.
new communities and representing different. And of course, there's going to be some sort of rewarding of like, oh, this person's cool. Let's put a feather in their cap. But I don't think it only means that.
Yeah.
And also, for you folks, it's just like a game you've been
I
making.
was just about to say that, right? Like, not to mention, it's also a game.
It's just a game.
It's just a game coded on Scratch for free
Yeah.
by people
Yeah.
who are like mostly college and
Right.
aren't being paid for this, and this is a hobby. Like this
Yeah.
is not a AAA game. We're not a AAA company. Just because we're good at Scratch does not mean we are obligated to operate under the same sorts of expectations you put on Nintendo to rep
Yeah.
like famous video games.
But I do think it is super cool that a project like that was made in Scratch.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Isn't
Like
that
you
awesome?
actually broke the limits of Scratch several times. And that's what the ScratchRunning podcast wants to celebrate at the end of the day.
Right.
It's true.
I mean, having ScratchRunning podcast was insane. We had to like add so many new things to the engine.
Yeah.
Fun
And
stuff.
that's what fuels some people's complaints. And their complaint is because we did something so amazing, we should have been able to do more. And that is ridiculous.
That's
Yeah.
not even the truth.
You know, speaking of crossover events and whatever, I don't know how much of this we can spoil, but Karen, have you heard of Monster Melee?
Rent haven't let me
Recently?
spoil this.
Oh, okay.
Monster Melee. I have been playing a ton of Melee recently.
Yeah,
And by Melee,
rightfully so.
I mean the game by Rent Heaven.
Not the other thing with that doesn't exist
That
now.
other game. Nah.
Oh.
So if
No,
you've
no,
never heard of Monster Melee, yeah, I can kind of see that. Monster Melee
At
is a game
least it
that
loads.
came out in January this year, where quite you ever play Fringe of Forces?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah. You-
Heard about
basically, you both get 3 monsters. You both get 3 skills.
It's strategy and it's cloud. So we have mentioned this on the podcast before. Any game that manages to somehow be a good cloud game,
Yeah.
deserves all the
This
attention.
but without the cloud. Now that's Scratch Running.
Right. So if you haven't played it yet, please give it a put some more strain on the Scratch servers and get on there. The question is, maybe we should tell the people to go play it at a certain day so more people play it. Because the problem right now, or with cloud games on Scratch in general, I feel
Yeah,
is
after they come out, they just stop getting played. They just chart with downwards trend. And I don't
Right.
want to keep the chart with downwards trend going.
I want everyone to play this game December 4th. Everyone mark your calendar December 4th. That's
Oh,
going to
true.
be
On the
our-
4th of December 2021, everyone go to Monster Melee and ask for the Fortnite burger. The look on Ren Heaven's face will be awesome.
The look on their face.
Will be
That'll
awesome.
be epic.
No, though, you
please.
could do this one because this one doesn't involve giving some random employee a very hard time at a very rough day. Except maybe an IT person over at MIT.
They call me Kieran won't stop quoting old memes.
I
'Cause they're
kind
fire,
of forgot
dude.
about this one, so I'm very happy you brought it back.
Yeah,
Can I ask though, what's the best way to play that game, on Turbo Warp or on Scratch itself?
definitely turbowarp.org. That's where the fun is. Everyone's on
The
Turbo
pros
Warp.
are. If you want to be
Yeah.
cool, go to Turbo Warp.
All the cool guys are on Turbo Warp.
Cloud connection is a lot better on Turbo Warp.
That's
True.
fair.
And for those tuning in more recently, reason that matters is because cloud games have different servers for Scratch and for Turbo Warp. So if
Yep.
you play on Turbo Warp, you can only match up with people who are also joining
yes.
through there.
Yeah, so
vice versa for
turbowarp.org
Scratch.
/ whatever the project number is, IDK, put it in the description. Anyways,
December 4th.
December 4th, my man Rend Heaven, let me reveal an update that's going to be coming to Melee real
Yep.
soon. It might already be out by the time this episode releases, but you know what? Hop on Melee. 2 new monsters, a huge overhaul to skills, and the most important thing, all monsters have been unlocked.
Yeah,
So-
so that means
You don't have to get 50 wins anymore. Let's go.
nobody
Yeah,
has to be out here being like, nobody has to be good anymore. You can just
Yeah.
build the best team, whatever that is now, since the
Because
meta
y'all
has
know, on
changed.
December 4th, we were going to have Bounder mains and then some 0-win Andes in the same time zone. You can't have that. You can't have that anymore. It's an
No.
old system. We've got to move it over to everything being unlocked.
The most cool part about this, I'm a bit biased, but
Yeah.
I love the 2 new monsters they're adding.
Tell me about them.
Well, one of them you may be familiar with from our little emotes menu
Yeah.
down there. It's our boy
Oh,
Wimmish,
no. It's our boy Wimmish.
who may be called Wimmers.
Wimmers.
Under their identity.
Yeah, I have accepted the fact that the meme of Wimmers has long outlasted the actual entity of Wimmish.
And yet
Right.
a trace of the true self.
Yeah, the
Does not
trace of the
exist.
true self.
does
Uh,
not exist in the false self.
You said this once before, quite. Basically, what happened to Wimmers or Wimmish now is it's the Captain Falcon of the SRCast.
Yes.
It
That's
is only
funny.
known for being Wimmers and not, really where it came from, but it is from Fringe
Yeah.
of Forces,
Guys-
which you can also play, which is similar.
There are also
to...
2 people in my mentions complaining about when Fringe of Forces is going to be on the Nintendo Switch.
I'm plugging it right now, guys. Guys, Wimmers is Wimmish. They're a monster created by him, yes, quite, in their game Fringe of Forces. You can find
Yeah.
it on his profile. It's actually
It's
a
good.
good game. You will need to play it locally
What?
or over Parsec.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a good game, and people don't play it enough, and people don't talk about
Honestly,
it. But, check
Fringe
it
of
out.
Forces
It's
is
good.
kind of nice.
Yes.
It's a good
So
game.
Wimmish in Monster Melee, his passive is gain ranged attacks, not ranged counterattacks on water. Wimmish in Fringe of Forces gains an extra movement on water tiles.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out to water tiles. We're bringing this bit back up.
No, but I just love how, because of the similarity of these 2 games, of Fringe of Forces and Monster Melee, it
Yeah.
just fits in there
It
perfectly.
felt right that the 2 should
I will-
collaborate.
I will admit, it's especially nice because Monster Melee sort of achieved what Fringe of Forces could
wanted
have but
to.
didn't, because I didn't actually make it cloud, which is sort of what that kind of thing needs if you're going to put it there. So it's
Well,
nice
yeah.
to see a fragment of mine end up there, so that it's there is a connection here.
Yeah.
Look what I did. It's-
No, not that.
Look what
I
I
will not
covered.
take credit for that.
But
yeah,
you know what?
it's nice.
Honestly, you just
nice.
love to see it.
To be fair, you're also going to get 3 characters in Gumulgurt. So,
Yeah, right, that is
that's
also
right.
nice.
That's true.
And I appreciate that as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fun.
But
The,
there's only
the-
one of the 2 characters that are being put onto Monster Melee, right?
Yeah, yeah. The other one that I can spoil personally, because it's one of my creatures I've made.
Yeah.
We're getting Wallfish into the game.
Wallfish Melee.
Wallfish you've only seen in Monster World as a little item you can collect called the Wallfish
The
doll.
Wallfish doll, love that dude.
But you might have seen the Wallfish card, I think, in one of my Apfel arts. Maybe I made
Apfel
one.
art.
That's right.
I think you redrew it in the 5th Apfel art.
Wallfish's skill gives every one of your teammates more defense, which is both physical and what's the other? The magic resistance or something.
So Wallfish's ultimate
Yeah.
it deals damage equal to your allies' strength plus magic.
Yeah.
So it's a reward for keeping your allies alive, I think.
So
That's good.
It's a team
So
focused
yeah,
character, which I
so
like.
you gotta play defensively if you're gonna run the Wallfish.
I will say, I mean, I don't know how much he's going to balance this game, but I do feel like characters such as like Asakat or anyone who has high attack, high speed are probably just always going to murder people, even if they have just +5 defense.
Yeah.
I think they're always going to be viable simply because in a game where the objective is to reduce the HP of enemies, it makes sense that you need monsters that can deal a lot of damage. So we'll see how that will turn out, how the meta will turn out.
Yep, there are a few balance patches. I want to talk about the new skill. They've just replaced Longshot with Tank. So no more range ups.
I always thought that skill was just unnecessary, just because it's
I liked
like
it.
so good. It's
I found it funny.
expensive.
Yeah. So the tank, the new tank skill basically makes it so you can't get double hit anymore, which is interesting. Again, another way of balancing the game. I'm somehow to talk less about the actual like meta stuff. I'm
The nuts and bolts.
I'm wondering. Yeah,
Not gonna lie, this kind of gameplay discussion is kind of fun.
That's true. But many people who will play this game for the first time, maybe on the 4th. Of
Yeah, they
December,
might
don't
not
forget.
understand what we're talking about in this episode.
Especially because they're gonna get every single character at the start.
That's a lot
So
of
it's gonna be a
characters.
bit more overwhelming. I hope Rend puts in like some sort of tip, like for a first
some
team.
kind of starter team. I think he could put that together.
Maybe he'll
Just
do
a
that,
few
maybe not.
synergies that he thinks goes well.
If not, I'm telling you right now, Bubbles, put that in every team. Put Wallfish in every team. Put Wimmish in every team. You got basically you got a water team and Fringe Forces. Get the water squad.
Yeah, that's the new meta.
Right.
Water is real, and it
Can
can
I drop a
hurt you.
slice? Can I drop a slice here?
Sure.
All right, slice me.
This is not directed just at Rend. Like, this is not a Rend thing. But I added like 40 community Goombles to Goomblgurt 2. And a lot of them, people insinuate, like, oh, this is great. We can do like a monster trade. I did this with Battlemons. I did this with Rend Heaven with Monster Melee. It was like, okay, yeah, future monster might be a Goomble. I've done this with like 4 games, and not a single Goomble has shown up in anyone's game.
Oh no!
I am Klabs. You have my word.
Yeah.
That brick.
There is going to be a Goomble in Taranga.
Yes.
All right, there will be a Goomble Taranga.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm
funny
sorry I
that
haven't released anything.
I think it's funny that the character select screen in Melee. At the start there were 16 monsters and then 4 post-launch fighters, and and there's room on the character select screen for 24 monsters.
Ooh.
And for the longest time, we thought there were gonna be 8 post-launch fighters, but I don't really care. But there are 6.
I'm smelling a mod here.
Listen, I modded that entire game to make everything a Goomble. Remember?
Goomble Melee,
true.
Monster Melee, the original, and Goomble Melee, completely different games.
Completely different games.
Monster Melee New Era, gonna be slightly different.
Especially since Goomble Melee is like an older version of the
2
engine.
new post-launch monsters. That's huge.
Yeah. Excited.
On December 4th, everyone go to Monster Melee.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll get some other peeps on who probably haven't tried it before.
Hop on Melee.
Time-wise, I guess I'll probably be around afternoon. Pacific.
It'll be whenever. If it's
Yeah.
December 4th, then you know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna repeat that thing we had when the game first came out on the first day. Like 10 people in a call.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
It went wild.
All in the
Perfect.
McDonald's chatting it up.
Right.
Yeah, I don't actually. I can't actually remember what date the update drops, but we're gonna have another one of those midnight release.
Yeah.
And then also on December 4th.
All right, we're reaching halfway.
Yeah.
I do have a soda segment.
Oh.
Yo, nice.
There's
It's good to see nothing has changed around here.
Oh boy.
So,
Tell us, Klabss, what wonderful soda have you brought us today?
Yeah, get the music rolling. Rolling.
Yeah.
All right. This is pretty terrible.
Oh no.
I will
Could it
say
be any
that
worse? The Mountain Dew Flamin' Hot.
I know, honestly, yes. All right, here we go.
All right,
let
lay
me
it on
see
me.
if there's a good way. All right, so this is from Jones Soda and Company.
Okay.
Jones?
Jones?
Our turkey and gravy soda instantly differentiated the company when we introduced it nearly 2 decades ago.
Oh, happy
establishing
Thanksgiving.
the iconoclastic brand personality that remains our calling card today, said Mark Murray, president and CEO of
I've
Jones
never
Soda.
heard of that. Is that an American thing?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
they
Because I
have
don't
like
want it to be.
specifically branded sodas. It's like green apple and cream soda, and they just have like funky black and white pictures on the bottles.
So yeah, they have like berry lemonade, orange
Yeah,
cream,
we don't
green
have that.
apple.
They're
don't have
normally
that
a
anywhere
relatively
else.
normal soda company. Apparently now.
But
Like
this
we like
was-
to immediately establish ourselves as total jerks.
Why would you make a normally sweet drink? Why would you make a soft drink taste like meat?
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't make sense to me.
Turkey.
Now I do have a something I want to read if I can find where I put this.
Oh no.
I have
'cause to
many
an
questions. I
extent-
don't know if you want to give me more, but
You to an extent, I mean, it's pretty clear this is sort of a what's the word? It's like a publicity stunt,
right.
where it's
Yeah.
like a
Mountain
little
Dew Flamin'
too
Hot.
silly.
I mean, I've never heard of them, so
Right, now you've heard of them.
Now you
but
know.
They also deserve to be like ridiculed for this.
true.
They do. They do.
So I'd like to read you a review courtesy of Heather Martin from the Today newsletter, if you let me.
Please.
All right, Heather.
What you
Well,
got?
I knew this day would come. There was discussion about whether turkey soda should be served warm like turkey, or chilled like soda, or perhaps room temperature like fine cognac. But in the end, I'm opting for chilled. It's 99% soda and hopefully no more than 1% turkey, right? I have not looked at the ingredients, so that I have no preconceived ideas. I love the rest of the label design, though I'm relieved there doesn't seem to be any sort of residue at the bottom of the bottle. First, the aroma. Wow. Maybe you have a strong sense memory of Thanksgiving with your family. The smell of roasting turkey permeating the whole house. Perhaps there's a little garlic in your traditional recipe. Maybe some butter or wine, possibly rosemary or thyme. You know the exact scent in an instant, wouldn't you? It's amazing how those things stick in our minds. Hold on tightly to it, because that's the closest you're going to get to it for the duration of this review. The aroma is barely there, and I'm grateful. What is there is lightly herbal, savory. I stare into the cup. It stares back. Time slows to a crawl. The ice maker whirs in the background, mocking me, dispensing clean, unturkeyed water into the tray. A sip. First impression. Carbonation. So far, so good. Next, disconcertingly salty. Faint sweetness, but it's blunting and persistent. Clearly diet. Now, the herbal flavor I smelled first. I think it's time. I can tell it hates me as much as I hate it. The animosity is 3D with Technicolor and surround sound. Determined to prevail, I take another swig to see whether I can detect turkey. Fleeting, furtive, like the ghost of a turkey at the corner of my eye. A spectral roastedness, and it's gone. I can't resist looking at the label any longer. I needed to make sure it doesn't use the word beaks or ectoplasm. Thankfully it does not. But since ingredients are listed by volume, it explains why salt was so prominent. It's the second ingredient with 240 milligrams of sodium.
That's
It has
too much
more
salt.
serving than
That's
a
too
bag
much
of
salt.
Doritos.
What?
That's too many.
The reality is much more diabolical than the sugared turkey flavor I expected. If you took the broth from roasting the turkey, herbed the living daylights out of it, sweetened it just enough to sow discontent and carbonated it instead of turning it into gravy, it would be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad idea. And also, it would be pretty close to this. The pinnacle of imprudent upheaval in food science. I feel profound respect. It takes a genius to conceive of something this counter to the entirety of human existence. And Jones Soda was the first. Humbled, I pay homage to the king of mayhem, carbonated. Suggested pairings, the ashes of faith and a just universe.
This is a banger review.
That's a very good review. That's some.
You know what? Every Klabss soda segment feels different.
That's true. Good job.
Honestly.
Congrats. Excellently read. Good
I
pacing.
hate this soda, and I haven't even tasted it.
I have
I
a
don't
question.
think I want to.
Klabss, do you actively seek out, like, how does your Google search history look like?
How active are you in the soda space?
I'm pretty active
Do you
in
follow
soda
the
community.
Mountain Dew
How-
wiki?
Do you seek out weird sodas so you can then talk about them? Because I love it, first of all, but
Right.
also, how?
I see myself as sort of a pioneer at Philly. As sort of
I'm glad to hear that.
explorer.
I feel like that's
of-
what Jones said when they came up with Forsaken Soda.
I like to picture myself as some sort of arbiter of justice, seeking out
Right.
those who have wronged
Okay,
the
buddy.
soda community.
The soda what?
The
Right.
soda community, of course.
yeah. Yeah.
They hide in every corner. These nefarious soda companies, and I look up soda news. And I'll tell you what I mostly see is if you drink soda, you'll die. If the soda will kill you.
Not the best. If you follow
yeah,
a
this-
soda fan base,
The soda
There's a
fan
so-
base
there are,
is
there are
kind
soda
of
fan
falling
base
apart.
accounts. There are soda gimmick accounts that post the good stuff, right?
Are there?
I'm sure
Right.
there are. There's a Mountain Dew wiki.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
there
talk about this every Klabss soda segment. There's a wiki of all the Mountain Dew flavors.
There is,
Or
and
breakdowns,
of course, Mountain Dew does silly things, and they do them
They
a
do
lot.
silly
but
things sometimes.
I don't always want to recycle the same company if it just feels like they're doing it for the publicity. But
Yeah.
there's something about this one that called to me because there's almost a little tongue in cheek, like, yeah, it's silly, but it's for the
right.
publicity, and I don't
Happy Thanksgiving.
let them have that. They did something
I agree.
wrong this day. They did something very wrong this
They
day.
did something wrong this day. We may forgive them for the turkey soda. Will we?
No.
Maybe
I don't think
someday.
If they ever
can.
come to Germany, I don't think I'm gonna.
I'll
Yeah,
pass.
no.
I'd give it a
I'll
pass.
pass. I'll gladly
Yeah.
pass. But thank you either way, Klabs. This was extremely funny. This is I wonder like how much this is worth compared to, because nobody buys them, obviously. Like
Well-
people only ever buy them once,
Yeah.
and
And
even then
that's-
it's only, I'd say, like what's the company called again?
Jones Soda Company.
I already forgot.
So the Jones
that's-
Soda Company.
That's
people
sort of
who
their
drink,
point, though.
Yeah, but like if you need money to invest into making this atrocious whatever
That is true. That is true.
beverage, you need to manufacture it, and then nobody buys it, and then it's just haha, this is the company that made turkey soda.
Well, they cracked it down to a science. This is what these soda companies do: is they only make like a limited amount of bottles. Now, to be fair, they made a lot more than the Mountain Dew Flamin' Hot Cheetos soda. They only made like 100
Really?
of those, if I remember. Which still is kind of a bit of effort because they need to set up
Yeah.
like the production factory to do that.
Right.
They made, I believe,
Just one dude in his
35,000
basement.
bottles. 35,000 bottles of Jones turkey soda, and a part of me actually doubts that all of them got sold.
Right.
I was thinking that's
Right.
35,000 bottles too many.
Yeah.
Agreed.
If you can, I mean, I don't.
Welcome to the ScratchRunning Podcast, where we talk
Welcome to the
about
ScratchRunning
soda.
Podcast, where we talk
I
about
really
soda.
should just pivot to the SRCast Q&A box
I agree.
before it's too late.
I agree.
Yeah, for
The
sure,
the
for sure. We have a lot of
ScratchRunning
questions.
Podcast Q&A box, I recently favorited it on the ScratchRunning account. It's the place where I go and I take your hot takes, your unpopular opinions, and your worst questions. Let's go. Let's go. Our first question is from Plateskate, who just says, "I'm stuck in a school dance. Please tell me how to escape. I really need advice here." Well, just up and leave, you coward.
I
you
don't think you
piece.
need Klab's advice
Just
segment
get
for this
out.
one.
No, you can literally go.
You
I mean,
are allowed to walk out.
no need to ask on Scratch, because you best believe nobody's been in a school dance.
That's not
What is
true.
a school dance anyway?
I'm kidding.
There's some hang-arounds.
Just none of
There's only
us
one
have
thing I'll
been to
say.
a dance.
Is one thing you'll have to do if you do find yourself in the situation and you need to escape. Do
Yes.
check in with the partner you brought and
Yes.
check whether or not they want to escape as well.
Well,
Yeah.
Ooh, you could
they
escape
could have
together.
come
Yes.
Unless you are
I give-
escaping from them, in which case, all the best.
Yes.
All right.
I like the
just
enthusiasm here.
leave.
I do think if it is an emergency, and I'm gonna say, kind of, if there's some monster in your prom, you can't really just go get your partner. It's kind of
Panic at the
High
disco,
stakes.
if you will.
panic
funny.
with disco, if you will. I say just turn the fire alarm. Turn the
Yeah.
fire alarm and
Yeah.
scatter.
Yeah. No,
then
I'll
you're-
one up you. Set a fire.
You're gonna attract more zombies that way, Klabs.
Well, I'm assuming the zombies are in here, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh no. And if I get out of here, they're gonna notice me moving too much. So they
I
got to
see
get
it.
distracted by the fire alarm. And that's all
the
I
other
have to say
people
about this
dancing.
thing.
You kind of got a point though. You are prepared for this.
All right, what's the next question?
The next
Yeah.
question, I don't know which one I want to pick.
We got two from Pixel.
All right, PXL Games, lay it on me.
So they asked about the symbols and almanac and candle whistle.
Candle World is fun.
sure.
You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
This is on
and
Klabs'
they're-
project, by the way.
Was it a pre-made thing? Is it random symbols, or do you actually make a conlang? And if it is a conlang, I have an important question. Do you have more than 5 vowels? Their next question: do you prefer a 5-vowel or 3-vowel system? If you like,
You like
more
having
than
more than
6,
6.
I am not associating with you now.
Oh no.
To which, Pixel, I'm gonna have to disappoint you. I don't know if this is gonna come off right, but candle whistle is a consonant-only language. There are 0 vowels.
0 vowels.
It is
Let's
a
go.
0-vowel conlang because whistling is not a vowel.
Uh-huh.
It's not.
Did you even play a Candle's Flame?
There are languages where whistles are vowels and consonants, and in this
Like-
case, it's a single consonant. When you read candle whistle, all the letters are meant to represent instructions for a specific tone you need to make in order to collapse quantum singularities, in order to align your universe into creating a random object.
Oh, that's how it works.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
That's pretty easy to do.
Right.
Well, for candlesticks.
If you
candles.
know,
Yeah.
if you know the /give command, that is.
Exactly. You have to know the /give command. Candlesmiths all can do the /give command, but they don't
Yeah.
necessarily know.
They don't know
what
the item
item.
IDs.
Meanwhile, if you're a human, you can technically create a machine to do it for you, or but you also need to learn how to get the item IDs. So anyone in
Yeah.
Candle World can use Candle Whistle. It's just a
If they
lot
want.
easier for it's a lot easier for candlesmiths.
It's really funny how satisfying that answer was for me, as opposed to how satisfying it should have been. Because I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's collapsing quantum singularities in order to randomly produce objects. That makes sense. Whereas what I should have said is, well, how does whistling collapse quantum singularities?
That's
It
kind of how
does.
this world just works. So it's string theory, right? Where everything is vibrations of the string is how it produces quantum
everything's
randomness. The idea is you whistle at such an octave that you actually change the vibrations of the string of reality in order to manipulate it into creating what you want.
Welcome to the ScratchRunning Podcast, everyone. where I have no freaking idea what anybody's talking about.
Speak for yourself. I'm tracking so far.
I am happy that I learned more about the Klabss cinematic universe.
Klabss cinematic universe, kind of good.
Thank you.
So this one question I find kind of interesting. Maybe just a quick answer because we have been recording for a while now.
Yeah.
Out of Context asks, if you ever have kids, will you introduce them to Scratch?
I hope they
Yes.
stay clean.
I think Scratch is a wonderful platform for kids.
I
to
will
learn to
introduce
code.
them to Turbo Warp.
I agree.
I
we'll
think
show
I
them
think I
projects.
would have them Scratch mostly offline to begin with. I don't necessarily think.
What do you mean
it's-
to begin with?
I think I would transition them to online just because I think Scratch is one of the most child-friendly online communities.
Oh, yeah.
Even if all online communities are not necessarily great, but if they're going to be active in an online community, I prefer it be Scratch than another one.
Agree.
Yeah.
Just
Agreed.
just tell them to hop off. ASAP.
Yeah, just tell them to hop on Monster Melee.
Like don't end up like I did.
How did you end up?
Well,
Like a great programmer.
Well,
and
look
a
at me.
cool guy.
look,
Yeah.
I'm
Whose
still
company
on
we
this
enjoy.
website.
Yeah.
I'm making
I
a
don't
game
think
that's
that's
never
good
gonna
evidence to not.
never gonna be done.
I see.
Scratch.
Yeah, if it makes programming fun, then heck yes. 'Cause
That's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
our world's gonna need more programming.
Sure.
Mm.
The bigger question I want to ask you, Klabss. First of all, congrats for how many now? 2,000.
2,000 followers.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And you made a celebratory project, the Klabss Game Jam.
Yeah, I
Where
forgot
were
we were
you?
gonna talk about that.
How did that go?
Well,
Or
it's still going.
right?
It's going,
We
yeah.
still got plenty of time. Even if you're listening to this now, when it comes out, you still will have like 3 weeks if you want to make something. Right now, I mean, people are still very stuck on the concept, which I expected. It's a hard concept. For anyone listening who doesn't know, the concept is beauty of death.
Okay. I have no idea what
Okay,
I would
bro.
do for that.
The inspiration was sort of, my culture, I don't think it copes with death very well or grieves very well, and I think it's wonderful. A lot of cultures do have celebrations and festivals and really good ways to sort of celebrate life through death. And I wanted to invite the young scratchers out there to see any of the material I've made that kind of tries to cover that, like Candle's Flame, or just any part of their own culture, and see what they could like make out of it.
Because it can be a spooky topic for sure, but I
that's
think
good.
it's a very very unique thing to make a game jam
Right.
about. If anybody out there still has an idea, you still got a lot of time, kind of.
And I will say to people who want to try it, I heavily encourage you to just explore natural death. I notice a lot of people have had a mechanic in the game that involves like killing.
Yeah.
Which is like, you can maybe do
Could do
that,
that.
but
That's not as beautiful. TBH.
it's not as beautiful to go and kill something and it's like, oh, it's beautiful now that it's dead. I wanted it more to be
Oh,
about
no.
how
Don't
like
say that.
live.
It's just a
Its
minor
life
L.
was beautiful, and like that. The
Yeah.
fact that it does end gives it a certain beauty.
Yeah. That's cool.
You kind of got a point though.
So everybody check that out, and again, Klabss, congrats.
Thank you.
So, is there? We had polls last time. I just remembered. We always talk about these, and it's always funny when we've had like a seasonal episode, like Halloween for the last
Halloween.
time, and then we ask a Halloween poll, and then now in November we're here talking about Halloween. But
Yeah, it doesn't
I
really
do-
make sense.
I do still, like to go over it to see what people answered.
Yeah, that's
maybe,
fun.
maybe for next year we can figure out if we're gonna give candy to people or maybe just another SRCast episode. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm feeling I'm feeling we do another episode of the SRCast.
That's fair. That's fair. Don't take candy from strangers, especially
Don't-
not us.
Yeah, definitely don't take candy from me. I don't
What
want
does
to give it to you.
mean? Okay.
I simply don't care.
What do you look forward to on Halloween the most was the question, and most people answered with all the candy I can get for free, and here we go.
You pieces.
You that's fair. that was 43%, and then 36% was people look forward to the SRCast episode the most.
I
Which
feel
is
like they might be a bit biased
honestly,
because it's on the SRCast.
That's very true. How dare you guys?
I'll take it in full earnest.
That's pretty good.
12% said the
guys.
costumes. And
Fair.
the least amount of people, 10%, said all the spooky stuff I can get spooked by, which is completely fair. Getting spooked, maybe
Yeah.
not like the
Getting
most
spooked, not that
satisfactory,
fun, but you know what? The Google Doodle wasn't on there,
Oh,
and also this year it was not a game.
yeah.
It's kind
It
of a
was-
shame, really.
What
Very
was cool
sad.
though was that you figured something out, Karen, about the Google Doodle. you
Oh
might be
yes,
getting.
new Google Doodle content. Some extra epic data miners in the Champion Island community went on there, and we uncovered the an update to the Great Google Doodle. So
Right.
that's basically confirmed for next year.
That's
I'm
exciting.
super hyped.
Yeah,
honestly.
no promises, but like, what else are they gonna do? So I'm saying it's confirmed. I'm setting my profile picture to one of the hand ghosts in advance that we took out the sprites.
All right.
Yeah, you're not allowed to play either of the Great Ghoul Duels anymore while they work on it.
Wait, really? You can't even play the old one?
No, they cancelled it, as I saw on my Halloween live stream.
Aw.
I tried to play it.
That's sad.
That is kind of sad, but you know what? Actually,
It's
no, I
bittersweet.
don't know what. I cannot
We keep
go an
taking
entire
L's.
year without the Great Ghoul Duel. I can go a few months without it. I'll play it now and again, but a whole year without the thing.
Yeah.
Don't know what I'm gonna do.
L after L for the Great Ghoul Duel community. Can we get a moment of silence? All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, you got to take a few L's to appreciate the W's.
It's like the theme of my game jam.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
Taking an L. Death
So,
is just a big L if you think about it. Wait,
But
that's
you need
exactly
that L
not
to
what
get the
Klabss.
W.
Yeah, it's not exactly. Yeah. Maybe I should make a game about this.
Yeah. Your journey ends here, but fate
Oh.
has other plans for you.
I like that. Who wrote that?
Uh,
Let's maybe end the episode if you guys are, if nobody has anything else to say, because I have something to say that I want to say for the end.
Yeah, end card.
Thank you. No, my end card is kind of like a bigger one because since this is the last episode of the season, as you know, as we did last year, we're also gonna have a new SRCast animated contest where
Ooh,
you
let's
can.
go.
I'm gonna spoil it right here. The thing you can win is another ed mode you can design. So sorry, Extreme
Let's go.
10, you cannot win this time. But if you still want to make an animation, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Extreme, the winner of last year's contest, who made the SR Aw.
Yeah, he's in the group chat now. He's a great guy.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So he designed that emote, and if you also wanna, win an emote, better start animating now. It's basically the same as last year, so I'm giving you a little head start if you made it this far. We're gonna do the same thing we did last year. We're gonna find a bunch of funny clips we've amassed over these episodes, these most recent episodes, and you can animate them. And if you're really good at that, or if you're really creative with it,
Yeah.
you might win. Also, every single entry is being mentioned, so there's literally no reason not to,
It's true.
except time. Which brings us
Yeah.
back to Klabss project.
Klabs.
Yeah,
Klabs.
I'm sorry.
this all someday.
Life may be short, but it's the longest thing you're ever gonna do.
That's pretty good.
Anyways.
What about working on Gumblegurt too?
That's up there.
Yeah.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
All right, thank you all guys so much
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
listening.
So everybody say who you are. You'll
love to see it.
where we can find us.
All right, let's go
We're
down
starting
the
at the top.
Yeah, it starts at the top.
I am Hummusquite. I can be found basically anywhere that I actually exist at the same name.
I can be found.
On
Yes, I can be
planet
found.
Earth. Seek him out.
Yeah. You know me.
Of course you do.
Of course you do.
That's not the spirit of things, Kieran.
Well, you wanted us to close these
All right,
episodes up
yeah,
there.
that
so-
was my mission statement. All right, I'm
Yeah.
Klabs. You can see me from Klabs.
He is Klabs, to be fair. You
Yeah.
kind of got a point.
And I'm App.
He makes
here.
game. He makes game.
I'm App Florida on Scratch. If you want to follow me, that's cool.
If you want to follow me, I'm KTrav258. That's not quite as cool as following at Philolog, but you know what?
Stick with it.
You do post more often than I do, so there's that.
I post sometimes. It's not going to be good, but I have an account for my good content. It's called ScratchRunning.
Right. To be fair, if you're not going to follow any of us, at least follow and subscribe to ScratchRunning.
True. Subscribe to ScratchRunning.
To the
There
second
goes that
foul.
fish.
Yeah.
There goes that fish. Gotta reel it in.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
we
There's
gotta reel
no
in.
fish. Where's the fish? There
There is no
Right there on the
fish.
hook, reel it in.
There is no
Yes.
fish.
You want the truth?
Yeah. You want the truth?
You want
There's
the
no
dang
fish.
truth? There is no fish.
There is no fish. Anyways, fellas, thank you all for listening to the SRCast. A huge thanks to Joseph for supporting the channel.
Right.
And I will see you. The recording is now stopped.
What?
See?
Reeled it in, baby.